men are logical, right? Or at least that's what we've been taught. So it's weird to me to see the logical sex so just unable to understand why a woman who has, 100,000 followers on Instagram based on her beauty, right? Because that's all it's based on. Just not
Yeah.
delivering content that's really impactful. She's gorgeous and other girls want to look like her so that they can get guys. And he wants a woman that looks like that and acts like that to be willing to build. She's advertising so that she doesn't have to build.
Do you stop building because you reached a certain point in your life? Let me back up for a minute. Is 100,000 followers the goal? I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. If I wasn't a content creator here on social media, I wouldn't even be on Instagram, TikTok, none of that. As a matter of fact, I came into the game late. When everybody was jumping on the Instagram wagon, I wasn't even checking for the Instagram wagon. But I joined in on it because it was a extension of what I was doing on YouTube. And as a matter of fact, I would just be ghosts and disappearing. And so when y'all talk about these women that got these huge followings and stuff like that, y'all got to also understand that we don't look at y'all the same way that y'all view yourselves. That's a knockdown. That's a trophy piece. That's not necessarily something that you look in the mirror. The only people that pedestalize these type of women are regular people. But the guys that they want, that's an opportunity. Like that's their version of a bust down. That's their version of a chick that you bust down that's in the hood for a regular dude that's in the hood. And so how guys view these women is not the same thing that they think their value is based off of. And plus, a lot of times we know that when you get to that point, you already been touched. And we probably know some of the dudes that touched you. And so it's all just becoming one small community of people that's all sleeping together.
So she's technically building
Somebody about to build with you?
herself.
She's building herself and she wants a man who's going to appreciate that.
Nope.
I think a thing that women don't know, a lot of women don't know, is that some men only want you because you are the top pick of the litter.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean he wants to keep you.
I agree. That's the problem. I think that's the problem. I think that I remember my mom told me something. She said men will destroy a beautiful woman because they will gas their head up and the woman thinks she's so much finer than everybody else. And she can have all these men and they give her the attention. And attention is a drug.
Mm-hmm.
So all these girls that get the attention, they think that they can have the man. But that doesn't mean that you can have him. It means you can have him for that moment. And he's serious about that moment. He's not sincere about the totality of it.
You here for a short time. You here for a good time, not a long time. And so I think that the thing that women miss is that just because you build a huge following doesn't mean that you've developed what a man needs or the man that you want needs to really be able to hold down a marriage, to hold down a relationship, to get him to marry you. Women don't work on the things that matter. They don't work on good character. They don't work on or substantiate whether or not they would be a great mother. They don't have any loyalty. They're going to go from dude to dude and jump from dude to dude in order to be able to make sure that they do the thing that's in best. And I think that the misconception here is that we giving women a little bit too much credit. A lot of these women that are really visible, we giving them too much credit because we're acting like they're good people just because they have a decent following. And so when you say you're working on yourself, that means you're working on your following. You're not working on the inner version of you that would make you a better person to the person that you wind up getting married to. And so I personally tell guys to not put a whole lot of value in these women that's super visible, because why would you want all of that attention unless you leverage it in order to continue to make a bag in the first place, unless somebody is giving you that guidance to do so? You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm not even sure that I could ever be with anybody that was in the industry unless it was financially beneficial for me to do so. It was a great marketing opportunity. But when we start to talk about value, I tell guys to vet for where you going, not where you at. And these women that's largely visible now, that don't necessarily mean that they're going to be as valuable as they think that they are in the future.
So then they'll say, later when he actually settles down, with a different type of girl, the girl feels like, oh, I could have her man. You could probably have him for a night, but
you
that doesn't mean
can't.
that you
Short
can have
time,
him.
not a long time.
You could borrow.
Right. You could rent or lease it for a night, but he
Make
probably,
sure you
because
make her
I
sign
think
that NDA.
women believe that because they can get the attention from a man. And a man reaction to beauty is over. Like I'm not gonna go into detail, but I've been around what the world considers some of the most
We
beautiful
like dogs chasing
women as far as
cars
society, right?
in
Culture, and all that.
traffic.
The way men
That's
act,
it.
it tricks me. I'm like, oh my God, he's gonna marry her. he's in love. It's
Facts.
crazy. Like he is just going
This is why you
in,
can't
and
follow celebrities
it
either.
is daunting. That's why I'm like,
Yo, that's so true.
they
Because you
go
see, like,
hard.
what?
Like, and it's really not even about her. A lot of times it's about, I want other men to see me get that.
Exactly.
I can pull that. That's why.
And that's the weirdo behavior. That's why everybody wind up sleeping with everybody. When you start to pedestalize these women and y'all sleeping with the woman just because another dude was with her or just because she visible, I wouldn't even want the chick that's super visible. Or if I got the chick that's visible, I wouldn't even want to be visible with her. You know what I mean? That's the whole reason why you make her sign an NDA in the first place, is that you don't want her to talk about it. But a lot of these guys is just reckless out in the streets, and y'all think that it's just the guys that is doing stuff on a low or, already got a chick at home or something like that, that's the type of guys that make them sign it. No, that's not the only type of guys that make them sign NDAs. It's dudes that ain't really trying to check for you that like on that type of time, but you was just a bust down. Again, pedestalizing these women to the point to where y'all think that they are more than what they really are. They are human beings just like everybody else. And so this is what happens when these dudes are basically clout chasing. And that's a certain type of guy that you get with that we got to be careful about, because then he'd turn into a chatty patty and start naming names and talking about who he slept with in particular, like the game or something. But you got to be careful of those type of guys because they'll mess up the game. And, being a chatty patty a lot of times also will start to force women to get a little bit more careful with the type of guy that she sleeps with, because she don't want to be thrown out there and thrown under the bus, like a Drea, for example, in the first place. But a lot of these guys, they wind up sleeping all with the same girls and wind up becoming a small community of people that sleep together, and it wind up be stupid. And it's all because of clout chasers.
They like to pull each other's chicks. Like all the guys, one
NBA
of my
players,
friends in
chicks get knocked
Atlanta
down, all
has a
kind of junk, bro.
podcast called The God Show. Ray Daniels said, he was like, we're all sleeping with the same girls. The politicians, the rappers, the scammers, the drug dealers, because that is you are being used as a way for him. Just like he got a car sitting out there to impress other dudes. He got this chick. I mean, they get passed around. So I understood later what my mom meant. The attention can get you thrown off and you can lose sight of the reality, and you will lose in the end.
And that's unfortunate because we live in this microwave culture that don't value people. And so the women wind up becoming bust downs because they don't value themselves. The men wind up sleeping with all of the same chicks because they just trying to impress other men. And there is no real substance. Nobody is really vetting anybody for character. They're not vetting anybody based off of their past to determine what their future is going to be. And so when you get more visibility and when you get money, I don't want you clout chasing. I don't want you out here trying to chase these chicks or sleeping with these chicks because another dude slept with her. Actually, you might be chasing after a disease. Be a lot more careful and be a lot more mindful. That's why you see a lot of these famous chicks, they go from famous guy to famous guy to famous guy to famous guy. And even the old cougar famous chicks wind up getting with the younger dudes like the Jalen Greens because they pedestalized these women when they was growing up. I'm curious as to what y'all think. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Also leave a comment. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at y'all later. I'm out.